Hello. It's so windy still outside. I've just lost two pillowcases down the garden. I've come in for a respite from the wind and had a look on X, and Chris Philp has done a video. And he's done a video about illegal working. He's calling out Yvette Cooper, who is supposed to be running the Asylum hotels and cracking down on illegal work. And in it, he's found very clear proof of illegal work. So that's the first thing. It's really interesting that this is becoming a new tactic by the opposition to get their point across. And I think it's a really good one. I think we're all fed up with the fact that none of the Labour Party answer a question. Prime Minister's questions is offensive to all of us in the voting public who did or didn't vote for the Labour Party but are still stuck with them as their government, and the government who should be working on our behalf, who should have our interests at their core, and yet they don't, and they don't even have the decency to answer the questions from the opposition who are asking questions from their constituents about issues and matters that are important to them. And because Keir Starmer's so busy, and Rachel Reeves and Angela Rayner, all of the front bench, are so busy trying to get one up on the opposition, trying to look like the big hard man, the big politician, the big I'm better than you, I'm sitting on this side, I used to be on that side, but I'm on this side now and you're going to squirm. It's all that crap. They're so busy deriding the opposition that they've forgotten that what the opposition is doing is acting on behalf of the British public. So it shows utter contempt for us that they can't even answer a question. But this new video tactic I think is really good. Robert Jenrick's one where he did a video on the fare dodgers. You can't ignore that. It's proof in front of your very eyes of the issues that we are all facing, that we are angry about in so many instances. Well, if enough of us like, subscribe and share, and I say to you, please like, subscribe and share, the more traction this gets, the harder it is to ignore. And we do get our voice that way then, because people are talking about it and it's very much in the public domain. And, on that note, I am sick to death of seeing politicians on mainstream media being asked a question and not answering it and fudging it and sort of reading a paragraph from a manifesto pledge over and over again. Or if you're Phillipson, I do not accept that. But I am sick to death of them not answering questions and not being held to account. And we need to see a change in that. We need to see broadcasters saying to them, answer the question, you get one go, and if you don't, you're off and you're not coming back. Because it doesn't work in anyone's best interests. People turn off from the channels because they lose faith in them. They think that they're biased or they're not doing their job properly, or, they are not upholding journalistic integrity. The politicians get away with just another free mouthpiece where they can say what they want. And the British public, bottom of the list. So there needs to be an accountability on all fronts by the broadcasters themselves and by the politicians. Answer the bloody question or don't bother going on. But back to these videos. So click on the link, which will come up in a minute, or it may have already come up, which will show you the actual video footage. Now, lots of things I see in this irritate me. The one is it looks like a really nice hotel, which is probably nicer than most of us could afford to stay in. I've stayed in some absolute holes because it's all I've been able to afford, yet this looks quite nice. Then we've got the obvious illegal working and Yvette Cooper or our taxpayer money funding all of this. But the stark bit that really stood out to me is the security guard. So in it, the security guard halfway through stops Chris Philp from trying to speak to the gentleman that he's trying to find out information from, find out if they're working for these delivery companies. And the security guard steps in, says he can't talk to them. Why? Why can't he talk to them? For a start, who made the security guard the censor? Who is that, a security guard? What gave him the right to do that? Why can he suddenly be involved in this? Why can't Chris Philp film? What's he hiding? What's being hidden? What's in there that we're not supposed to see? What's in there that we're not supposed to know? What questions are going to be answered directly by these guys that we're not supposed to know the answers to? What is this uncovering? What is this showing us? I mean, we can all fill the gaps in. We can all say what we think this is going to show. We can all say what we suspect this is going to show. But if it's not going to show that, then why hide? I think that's the bigger key in this video. What are we covering up? And often, I've said it before, it's not what somebody does say that gives the game away, it's what they don't say. And in this case, what they're not allowed to say. So it's really interesting. Have a look. And as I say, like, subscribe and share. If, like Chris Philps, get onto his tweet, follow him. Have a look at some of the comments. The comments are, some of them are a bit iffy, but it's really interesting to gauge what the public think. And in the main, the public are beginning to get behind this style of reporting from the opposition and go, yeah, damn right, you do this. You show them, you expose it. And by us all, like, subscribe and sharing, we are then getting our word out, what we feel is being shared. And before long, it will be so overwhelming that the government will have to be accountable, which is ultimately the goal.